Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for staying with us. We finally had a record-breaking, drought-busting, wet winter in northern Nevada. It's everything we needed following years of drought, even a little more than we needed. So what does that mean for our water supply, and how long can all this water last us? Andy Gebhardt from the Truckee Meadows Water Authority is here now to talk about all that. Andy, thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
All right, this winter really was one for the books. So what do our water supplies look like now? Obviously, we haven't seen the runoff yet, but just from the snow and rainfall.
Outstanding. You know, they're full. Everything's going to be full this year. The reservoirs will be full. We'll have enough storage upstream, if you will, for the next couple of years, 2-3 years. So even it's just, this is amazing.
When was the last time we saw all the reservoirs full like this?
2006 would be the last time, if I remember right. So.
Wow, that's been a long time.
That's a long
It
time.
really was a long time coming.
Yes.
So was there ever a point where you guys at TMWA were concerned that we were never going to get them full again?
No. I mean, we obviously the big drought, the 4 dry years in a row, the last year being the driest on record, those obviously are concerns. We watch them just like everybody else does. But we have a pretty robust system, and we have good upstream storage, and we've been planning this. We plan, we live in a desert, so you can't plan on having these kind of years all the time.
Right. So worst case scenario, say we completely stop getting water. Say we have just the driest years ever now, for a few years. How long could the amount of water we have sustain us? Right
now, when Tahoe's full, what we found is about a 2 to 3 year drop. It'll provide normal river flows for about 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a game changer.
And that's without even tapping into the reservoirs, the groundwater.
That's without tapping into any of our upstream storage, of which we have more than we've ever had, thanks to the Truckee River Operating Agreement. So, I mean, our community is blessed, if you will. We have a robust system. We've had people that have been planning about this for years, trying to be smart about water, and that's where we're at.
I mean, it's great news, especially considering, we do expect the population to go up, more people coming into the area, and it's, definitely going to require a little more water than what we have needed in the past, right?
Yeah, it will. I mean, we plan for that. The one thing about it, you have to, for growth in here, conservation doesn't, if you conserve water, that doesn't go to growth. And so people have to bring the water rights. They have to bring water with them when they want to build. And so, we're planning for that. We know that.
Wait, they have to bring water with them?
I guess it's a way to say it, and I've used this example many times, but if you've been around here for many years, Opios grew potatoes. And so the Opio they had a potato farm, and now there's houses being grown on that property. So they sell that property. All those potatoes took irrigation water. There were water rights for that. Well, then when they shut down the farms or the fields, now they grow houses there. Well, that same water that was being used to irrigate the fields is now being used to supply water for the home. So when somebody comes in and they want to, when a developer comes in and they want to build homes, they have to bring the water rights with them.
So what if a developer wants to build in a patch of land that never used water before, just a patch of desert?
Well, they have to have the water rights. So they have to be water rights that were appropriated out of the river, out of the Truckee River.
Is there a point where you guys would say, this isn't feasible, you can't build here?
Boy, now we're delving out of the end of my skis. But I mean, I'm sure there's something out there, but I don't know that answer.
Well, good to know that we at least are in a good position now, and really maybe an excessively good position, right? We know we're going to have record amounts of snow melt when it finally warms up enough for a long period of time. So what are we doing to store that? Is there room to store the snow melt?
One of the deals with the Truckee River Operating Agreement, TROA, if they've heard that term, is the beautiful thing about it is when there's dry years, we get to store more. When it's wet years, other users on the river get to benefit from it. So right now, Pyramid Lake is benefiting quite a bit, a lot of water going down that direction. We're storing all that we're still legally allowed to. And then, there's plenty of storage up there for everybody. We want to be good stewards on the river, and everybody, there's other users on the river, and everybody has their share.
Does it ever get to be too much? I mean, can there be too much snowmelt that we could not have a place to put it and it could be a problem?
We have a big terminus lake down there in Pyramid Lake. there should be a place for that water to go.
So we just see a little bit less beach.
A little bit less beach.
Okay, so when customers head into summer in the last few years, we've kind of been looking at water cutbacks during drought years, trying to reserve water when we could, and obviously that's not going to be the case this year.
Yeah, that's correct. We only ask for extra conservation. We always ask for some conservation. Like I said, we want to be good stewards of the river. We want to be good neighbors and only use what you need to use. But there are times when we are dipping into our own private storage, and that happened in 2015. In those cases, we do ask customers to be a little extra vigilant. We ask for everybody to, cut back an extra 10%. The community responded phenomenally. And, we're not going to have to do that for a while.
Good news.
Once again, that's only needed when we're dipping into our upstream storage.
And there will also be some natural savings. I know we've discussed this in past episodes because some people made changes to their landscaping. For example, maybe they xeriscaped or made some changes that made it so they just use less water naturally. Those savings are still going to be in place whether it's a wet year or dry year.
And most of the savings are like that. I mean, most people, they looked at their property, they decided I can cut back on my watering, my lawn still looks good. They're not going to turn the water back up. Or they said, you know what, that area over there, I would always wanted a patio. This is a good year to put a patio in. Well, they're not going to rip the patio back out and put the lawn back down. So the majority of saving that the customers did, it's permanent. They're going to continue doing that,
and,
which is good. It's good use of the water.
When you see that you can still keep your yard looking nice and save a little money on your bill, people are going to do that.
Yep.
Now, the unfortunate flip side of the customers saving money on their bills is that less money goes to TMWA, and I know this has caused a little bit of a situation for you guys. Can you explain a little bit what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, that's not the only reason, obviously, but yeah, I mean, we're in a business and like any other business, and first and foremost, we want to be good stewards of the water and we want to use the resource appropriately. At the end of the day, though, we do have to make costs. People tell me all the time, well, water should be free. It's from the sky. Well, that in the river might be, but if you want it plumbed to your house, on demand, clean, that takes a little bit of effort, and we have to staff it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So making costs, that's all we're trying to do, and we haven't had a rate increase in over 3 years. We've been trying to get along. We've been doing some pretty good things operationally, cutting costs wherever we can, but at the end of the day, sooner or later, everything costs more.
So looking at this upcoming budget, I know there was a deficit, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so then, TMWA asked for a rate increase. It was 3% for this year that was asked for?
That's correct.
And that was recently approved?
That's correct.
Okay, so explain how you arrived at 3% and what that means for customers.
Well, what we did is we took a look at what our immediate needs are over the next couple of years. Because once again, it's a crystal ball. I told you earlier all those savings were permanent. Well, maybe they're not. We don't know what's going to happen. You guess and you think, but it has to be, everything has to be bore out eventually. So we asked for the rate increase, 3% this first year and 3% next year, and then we'll see what's happening. If we have further rate increases that were approved, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 for the following 3 years after that. But they all have to go back to the board. They could be reduced, they could be eliminated, they could be postponed, and the board's done that in the past. We've made a projection, said we need a rate increase, and the board when we got to that point, we said, well, you know what, our projection was wrong, we're doing a little bit better than we thought, and they've postponed them and they've eliminated them.
Now, to people who might be upset about the rate increase and say, well, we did what we were asked, we cut back on water, and now we're getting penalized for that, what's the message?
I've heard that a lot, as you can imagine, and that's, I don't follow that line of thinking. We've asked you to be responsible with the water. When we were using our upstream storage, we were doing the best we could to ensure that people could still continue their quality of life, but still preserve, because we didn't know what was going to happen in the future. And at that time, we were criticized for not asking for more. But we knew, it's a fine balance. We didn't want to, we couldn't ask for more. We understood what was going to happen or what could happen as it was going forward. So we only asked people for what we really think they need to do. And at the end of the day, like I said, being a good steward of the resource is the most important thing.
As we look ahead, I know it's hard to predict, but is it feasible to expect that a regular annual or every other year rate increase would be put into place in order to keep TMWA solvent?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I don't know. Once again, we look at all our financials as we go. The board at this point in time has not adopted something like the city of Reno where they just have an automatic sewer increase going forward. The board has adopted not to go that route, but rather look at the finances as they come along and make sure that everything's still warranted. But there has been discussion of that from the public, and you never know. You don't want to get locked into where you're just always doing something just because, but you want to make sure that you take care of it so that you don't hit people with a big shock, and that's what we wanted to do here. We knew that if we waited too much longer, then the next, then we might be asking for this monstrous rate increase, and in our line of thinking, a 3%. We haven't had a rate increase in over 3 years. It's essentially inflationary. And at the end of the day, it was $1.42 on the average customer's bill. And we didn't think that was too onerous at the time compared to what could happen had we not taken a look at this and took action.
All right, and that will be taking place first time on the May bill, so customers can expect that. We have just about a minute left, so before we go, do you have any message to customers, anything you really want them to know?
I did, and it really has nothing to do with TMWA right now, but it has to do with the river. We've been working with the Reno Fire Department, and the river is stripping right now. It's flowing. It's hazardous conditions, and we've already had people that have been, had to be plucked from the river, and we don't want to see anybody lost, and we don't want to see anybody hurt. And so I would just encourage everybody as they're thinking, wow, let's just jump in the river. I won't be dragging this year. Yeah, but that might not be the best idea. So.
Yeah, like we were talking before, go up to River Ranch, stay out of the trucking in downtown.
Yeah, take care. Maybe go downtown to Wingfield, have a good time, but let's don't float from upriver.
Stay out of the water. All right, Andy. Thank you so much for your time. I
sure
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for this episode of Face the State. But for more information on all of this or to see past episodes, you can just head to our website. That's ktvn.com. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.